Oh, man, this is going to be such a good one. I cannot wait. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Designated Players Podcast, Season 2, Episode 6. I need two hands for this now. That's how far we are in Season 2. We are going to steal yet another idea off of Extra Time because we are the most original podcast out there. Ranking the top 5 players at every position coming into the 2021 season. This is not based off of any pedigree or how many trophies they have or MVPs or whatever. This is strictly about who we think is most likely to be the single best player in that position or top 5 best players this season, barring injuries, barring, whatever. This is who we think the top 5 will be. We'll also do a quick little roundup of the Champions League. This episode is coming out the second match day of the first match week. So it's Tuesday, Wednesdays. And it'll come out on the Wednesday. So we won't dive too deep into it, but we'll talk about it just a touch. And then we'll dive right into it, go through all positions in every team's favorite formation, evidently, the 4-2-3-1. Hit you with a goalkeeper, right back, 10 center backs, because 2 center backs in a formation. Obviously, your left back will get you more of a 6, an 8, and a 10, a right wing and a left wing, and then a striker. But before we do any of that, and before we even go into Scarf of the Week, we have to go into Quote of the Week, which is something I think I'll be saying way more often than I really should, because we've been doing this for 2 seasons now. I think this is episode 50, by the way. We hit half a century. That's awesome. Oh, man. Who would have thought we made it this far? Anyways, 50 episodes in, you'd think these guys would know something about the league at this point, but the quote of the day and the week, and probably the next few weeks, is Adam, you idiot. Because Adam there's a head there, but do we know if there's a brain inside? We don't know. So we're going to find out. But anyways, now that we've got that out of the way, make sure you're tweeting us the quote of the week. Tweet Adam. Make sure you tag him. Adam, you idiot. Hashtag QOTW. Just for fun. But Scarf of the Week. Connor, start us off with your RSL or Vancouver? What are we rocking today?
Actually, really quick, did you say at the beginning that this is the rankings of what we think, like who we think the top 5 will be for the season?
Like who we think coming into the season are the top 5 players.
Okay.
Like not like who's going to finish in the best of the best, but out of like this on game week 1, who are the top 5 going into the season?
Okay.
Why? You think you prepped it wrong?
Maybe a little bit. I might make some minor tweaks.
That's fine. Make your tweaks as we roll.
I don't think I'm replacing names, but maybe changing orders. But anyway, let me go to the Scarf. I am not going with either, even if it looks green. I don't know if something's wrong with my display. I think I messed it up this weekend because I was trying to show my girlfriend Shrek because she's never seen Shrek before. And
that's crime.
And Shrek has destroyed my computer and made everything green because that's what he does.
That's lovely.
So I actually have an NYCFC scarf.
All right, you're off. Goodbye.
I need one for every team.
Adam,
the material on this one is actually really nice. It's really soft. The design is not too bad, to be honest with you.
Their team, yeah, I know.
The design's not too bad on it.
Looks disgustingly green.
Yeah, I don't know why it came out so green. I don't know. It's not green. It's like a dark blue. But
balances off, but awful. That's like. There are lots of things you can do to like put yourself in the doghouse on this pod. That's definitely one of them. Adam, you can either mute him or kick him, whatever. I don't care, but I don't want it. He doesn't get opinions on this one. What do you got?
I mean, if we kick Connor, it's just me and you, and you're just going to be yelling at me for the next hour.
Exactly.
So I might keep Connor around. And after seeing the quote of the week, I was going to be nice to you and not show you the scarf. But like now I'm definitely not.
That's awful.
So in honor of this past week, so Andrew can see it's not from the famous game, but I got my USA Trinidad friendly scarf because we're going to the Olympics. Oh wait, no.
Why'd you do that?
No, I'm gonna take a quick sidebar here. Quick sidebar.
Yeah.
It is unacceptable. 3 cycles in a row, and we failed to qualify. The last time we qualified, Freddie Adu made the roster.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's unacceptable. It's disgusting. I don't agree with Taylor Twellman. I don't agree with Alexi Lalas but they hit it on the head. You cannot be a proper footballing nation, think you're growing to be one of the best leagues in the world, and not qualify against Honduras. It's just not acceptable. Jason Christ should never be given another job in U.S. soccer ever. He's failed at City. He's failed at Orlando. And then someone who's like, hey, man, go take our U23s and try and qualify for a World Cup. Why? I don't care what type of ideas he has or mentality. He has not shown that he can do it. The fact that and granted, you're going to see they say it, right? The diehards will go on out and say, yes, this was technically our B/C team. That doesn't matter. We lost to a team whose 2 goals were scored by a USL player and a rejected USL player. He didn't even make the USL squad, and he torched us. And I won't put it on David Ochoa because he saved us against Costa Rica. He was phenomenal. But he picked an awful day to have the worst day of his life. He just did. And it just, there's no spine. And we talked, somebody, I forget who put it out there. So I'm scrolling through Twitter afterwards. Jackson Ewell, he had a screamer to bring us within 1, but there was just nothing there, right? You look at a captain during big games like that, somebody who you want to motivate you and help you drive forward. And it just looked like there was nobody who gave a crap there. Everybody was walking through the game. Everybody was just, oh, yeah, cool, whatever. And then they get scored, and I'm like, oh, they would start playing now. And then they get scored on again at the start of the second half. It's like, oh, wait, now we have to wake up. It's just, somebody said spineless. Somebody had the word spineless in there, and I think it was a perfect example. And this sums it up, right? You have to wait until the 93rd minute to get a chance 2 yards off the line. You kick it backwards because you can't use your left foot. I don't care if you're my D squad on the U23s. You can't have the amount of progression we've had and not qualify for this tournament. It's just not acceptable. And anybody who is a U.S. soccer supporter should be, I'm not going to use the term ashamed because we have tons of potential going forward. And a lot of that is young U23s in Europe potential. But this wasn't us losing to Mexico, guys. This wasn't us dropping points against a Spain, youth national team or whatever. This was Honduras. It's just not acceptable.
Yeah. Also, random other fact: I didn't realize Justin Glad is 24 because I feel like he's been here for like 12 years.
I said the same thing. I think he started playing when he was like 19. He was captain at like 20.
17, dude.
Yeah, right, wasn't he?
He's been at RSL for 7 years since 2014.
Talk about him. That man should be in somewhere, not RSL right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was not a good day.
We beat Northern Ireland, so like, yay.
I had a whole tactical display of why that will never work again.
Matt, we don't have to. It doesn't have to work again. We won.
Well, no, because they keep saying that they're going to keep looking at this and trying this, and it's not going to work. Because what you're doing, and I'm not going to draw it up here again, but you're taking it's a 3-4-3. You're taking your 3 highest wingers, bringing them into play like center attacking mids, shooting your midfielders, your wide midfielders up to play winger, and you're leaving 3 center backs against 2 strikers with like 30 yards of space on the wings. You lose the ball once, which Kellen Acosta did way too many times in that game. You lose the ball once in a bad area, you are screwed. And we did get screwed. If you have anybody who has any pace and technical ability, you're screwed. It will never work against Mexico. It will never work against Costa Rica. It will never work against most teams. We just got lucky Northern Ireland don't have Will Griggs on fire. Like,
true.
Sorry. Anyways, it won't work. And it took me like 5-6 minutes to figure out what exactly they were doing. And once I saw it, I literally just said, I drew the whole thing, and I just drew big squares that go bad zone. We lose the ball here, it's over. And then 3 minutes later, it happened twice. I don't know what they're trying, man. They just got to go win games. I'm tired of watching us be really bad. But we can beat Trinidad 7-0.
Woo.
Hey.
Also, Canada won like 9-0 the other day.
11-0 against
11-0 final. Yeah, Canada's
Nice.
good.
They play the Cayman Islands. Relax. They're
No, but just
good,
like
but,
looking at that roster, I was like, oh wow.
I'm not saying the roster's bad. I'm not saying they're a bad team, but you can't take an 11 nothing
No.
result against. That's like taking. There are England fans who took a 5-0 result against San Marino. Were like, it's coming home, boys. Like, relax. Everyone's like, DCL scored twice. Like, DCL should have scored 4. Like, relax.
Yeah.
All right, before we keep going, in honor of Cameron Harper at Red Bull, Celtic FC, new scarf. Mystery scarf on awaydays.com is the greatest investment you will ever make if you're a big scarf collector like myself. $30 for 2 random European scarves. I got the next one coming out next episode, so I won't spoil it. But they're high quality, they're really nice, and they're unique, and you never know what you're going to get, but they're always good, right? It doesn't matter. So if you're a collector like myself, go check them out. We're not sponsored or anything, but Martin, if you're listening, hey, buddy. All right. Champions League, so I don't keep harping on the fact that our national team is not as good as everybody thinks it is. Cool. Unless anybody wants to talk about the national team anymore, you can. Yeah, that's probably a good decision. All right, so there are 5 matchups coming up in the next about week or so. You've got Portland away at Marathon, Atlanta away at Alajuelense. I believe that is the Honduran side or maybe Costa Rican side. I know Saprissa is a Costa Rican side against Philadelphia. Toronto takes on Leon, and Columbus takes on Real Esteli, which I believe is Honduras. My knowledge of these teams is not very good, and it probably should be better. Basically, like I said, we're not going to dive into it, but just on matchups alone and team strength, who has the toughest first round matchup away game? Connor.
Oh, you started with me. I was gonna pull up the thing because okay. I don't really know the teams at all outside of Major League Soccer. So like, I recognize Leon, I recognize Saprissa. I mean, I don't know how. Actually, give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Sure. Okay, Adam, go ahead.
Who has the toughest draw would be Toronto. I mean, I think Philly would probably be the second one with Deportivo Saprissa, but we saw how LAFC looked last year in like our second episode when they played Leon.
Yeah.
So I think Toronto's probably got the hardest game. I think everyone else, now that I'm looking at the schedule, should be fine. Weirdly, I wouldn't be surprised if Portland not struggled but didn't do as well against Marathon.
Yeah. For me, I was in the same boat. It's either the Leon game, but I think Saprissa is going to be Saprissa away has always been a challenge for teams who go into this competition because they are the Costa Rican Giants, right? And they know how to play this tournament. They know how to they just know how to compete in this competition. I think the other sneaky one here, Atlanta against Alajuelense, simply because we don't know how they're going to play. But if we're talking about how we don't know how they're going to play, Toronto against Leon, their first game with Chris Armas in charge. Chris Armas knows how to get through the first couple rounds, but it's that decisive game, right? So if I had to rank them, I'm going to go Toronto, Philly, Atlanta. And if I'm going to go easiest, Columbus is going to walk over Real Esteli.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Toronto also has the hardest. Kind of the same reason because Leon, because they are now under a new coach, so that could change a lot of things there. Even if most of the team is the same. Also, Leon's won 2 straight in the league, so a little bit of a run there for them. Yeah, I agree with you. Atlanta's definitely a sneaky, tough one. I would say Alajuelense
Yeah.
is actually unbeaten in the Costa Rican league right now. unless this table's wrong. But so they're obviously playing well in the league, above Saprissa, 12 points above Saprissa. So they're playing really well right now. Atlanta's, the tough thing for MLS teams is they're starting CONCACAF as their first games of the season, so they're not in mid-season form. So I think that I agree with you. I think that's a sneaky tough game for Atlanta.
Yeah, I think especially if Yosef's not 100% and they're trying to ease him back into things, you really don't have a solid second option there.
I think they're good enough at striker that they'd be all right without him. You can go Eric Lopez, Lisandro Lopez.
So that's what I'm interested to see is how they fit him in, because I have a feeling they're going to go half and half with them just to ease him back into it. And I'm very interested to see how they switch that mentality around a little bit. But that's just a little bit something I'm looking forward to. The Portland versus Marathon game, I don't know. I got nothing really to say there. They're bottom of the Group A in the Clausura in their league. They've got one win. I can't imagine them having difficulty, even if it's their first game of the season, right? I can't imagine too much being an issue there. Okay. So how we feeling? Ready to get yelled at?
Always.
Yep.
All righty then. Let's go in to our goalkeepers. How do we want to do this, really? Do we want to just go in and give our list and then give our reasoning?
Sure.
I feel like that's probably the way to do it. We go, Adam can go first, then Connor, then me, and then we can rotate it, and then we can yell at each other for 20 minutes.
You yell at each other, you mean you yell at us.
Correct. See, I'm glad you're finally catching on. It's only been 50 episodes. Well done. All right. Goalkeepers. Adam Tamburillo. Give me your 5 from 5 to 1.
From 5 to 1. Okay.
5 to 1.
Okay.
And then Connor, you can go, and then I'll go, and we'll have a conversation.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So bear in mind before you yell at me, I took into account last season as well. So it's not just who I'm excited for going into the season. If
that's what you were supposed to do, yes.
No, I know. So there are no new players on any of my lists.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the same thing as well.
Yes, if this is their first season in the league, they're not on my list.
I have a few people. I think if I have anybody new, it is in like an honorable mention as hey, this person can be very good. But I need to see them play first. And there might be one or two that slid in there just because I think their pedigree in other leagues has shown that they can do well. Okay.
So, I mean, we know who you're talking about when you say that, but yeah, I didn't put him.
You don't know who I'm talking about.
I have a feeling, but yeah, I didn't put any newcomer to the league on any of my lists.
That's fair. Okay.
So number 5, Sean Johnson. Number 4, Stephen Fry. Number 3, Tim Melia. Which now that I'm thinking about it, should probably be Matt Turner. 2, Pedro Galese, and number 1, Andre Blake.
Okay. Connor.
I did 5, Pedro Galese, 4, Sean Johnson, 3, Eloy Room, 2, Matt Turner, and 1, Andre Blake.
Okay. All right. I know what I feel like I should just start making notes. Like Ryan from The Office, that little notebook he does and just like underlines it. That's probably what I need to start doing, because that I've already got things I need to yell at you about. 5, Stephen Fry, 4, Matt Turner, 3, Sean Johnson, 2, Pedro Galese, and 1, Andre Blake. Connor, Pedro Galese at 5?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Did you even watch him play, or are we just saying, oh man, he was kind of good?
No, I didn't watch him play, so
I know you didn't watch him play. Put him at 5. That's obvious.
Yeah, that's because I was looking at. So I didn't watch him play. I didn't watch enough of Orlando to really make a judgment on him.
Clearly. Yeah.
So I just went off of what the stats said, because we've said it before, numbers don't lie. And I found a site. It's called FBref, and they have a stat on there. It's I mean, it's the first time I've seen it, so I don't know exactly how reliable it is, but it's called PSXG plus minus.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's like
Let's just pull random letters and
It's
numbers
not.
out of the air, and we'll just make it a stat. You're
it's
ridiculous.
it's post shot. Listen, it's post shot expected goals minus goals allowed.
correct. I know. I actually do know the stat. It's basically a measure of how effective you were at keeping balls out of the net that should have gone in. I believe
Yes.
is the
And
correct.
I
description.
think it's a viable stat because guess who was dead last in this stat?
The guy who had one of the best defenses in the league in front of him, who
David
didn't get
Jensen.
to see a bunch of
No.
expected goal shots.
No, dead last in the stat was Daniel Vega.
Okay, never mind. I take all that back. That dude's awful.
Yeah, he was dead last in the stat.
I think that Daniel Vega was down there because his expected goals were like 0.5 and he let up like 4 goals a game. He had a negative whatever that stat is.
So Petro Galeses was a minus 1.2, whereas like the other guys on my list were all like around +2. Matt Turner was a +8.
Yeah, Matt Turner.
So I was basing it heavily on that stat, and I definitely think that he's better than that looks, and that's why I still was like contemplating putting him up higher, but I put him there because I feel like that stat kind of takes, not obviously perfectly, but it kind of takes out the role of the defense. Like you can't just say like, oh, this guy gave up a bunch of goals because his defense in front of him was terrible, or this guy didn't concede goals because his defense in front of him was really good.
Okay, that is fair. I think that's a pretty good number to look at. What I need to tell you is the fact that he made over 2 saves a game and had a 1.04 goals against average. There are only 2 players in the league who did better than that, and that was Matt Turner. And I think I'd put Matt Turner higher. I think I have him a little bit too low. I'd probably move him into 3 and Sean Johnson down. But the only person who did better than that was Andre Blake at 0.92 with 2.5 saves a game. I don't really, if you watched him play, you know that he came up bigger for his team than that stat allows, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's like a kind of a clutch guy that can make the big saves in the big moments, but I mean, if you are saying that stats reliable, then it seems like he could be mistake prone.
Sure. And I don't think that takes away from so I get what you're saying. So I'm trying to run back in my head if I've seen him make those types of mistakes, or if it's one of those things where he is being, I'll say, left out to dry, right? And by that, I don't mean like, because I'm trying to think of the times where he actually made like Sean Johnson-esque mistakes.
I know.
Right?
I don't remember this either. But then again, I don't watch Orlando week in, week out, so I don't really
But
know
I
for
feel like
sure.
if he had some like howlers like that, you would have seen it on Twitter or Instagram. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm sure.
So that's why I'd like to dig into that stat a little more because I think it's a viable stat. I'm not disagreeing. But to put him at 5 because of a stat that nobody's ever really majorly used, I think is a little rough.
Well, so I
to be fair, I don't like the expected goal stat. I think it's a silly stat that doesn't make any sense. They just like say,
I think it could be a bit subjective, maybe.
Absolutely.
I don't even know the stat exactly, but even just looking at more common known stats, like the one I'm looking at, I mean, the numbers are going to be a little different depending on what site you look at, but the one I'm looking at has him as a 1.05 goals against per game,
sure,
and a 73% save percentage, and the rest of my. Let me look at the list I put together again. But so the rest of the guys that I put on the list all had a higher save percentage and were relatively close around goals allowed per 90. So that's why I put Gillespie 5 as opposed to higher up on the list.
So goals against average in a season that you have 27 games ish, including playoffs, is probably a little bit misleading. You don't have, you can have one bad game, it'll throw your entire stat off, right? Or
that's fair.
Play normal, right? The other one I'll say is save percentage doesn't take into account difficulty of save.
Right. That's why I was looking more at that other statistic, because I know he can just get hung out to dry, and then that just ruins his save percentage.
Sure, but is expected goals minus goals allowed, is that, again, I don't like the expected goals because I feel like it's almost, there's definitely a formula for expected goals, but how you calculate that.
I think people calculate it differently. So it definitely, there is some subjectivity to it, but it was, I really wanted to try to focus solely on the goalkeeper and kind of take out the role of the defense.
For sure, so
And
did I.
because then I feel like someone like Matt Turner looks worse than he actually was, because it seems like he was like insanely good last year. But because he had maybe a shakier defense than a lot of these other guys, he's allowing more goals per game and like has a lower save percentage.
Sure. The way that they do it is basically the number of shots times 0.1, because 10% chance of scoring from any of that. Yeah, again, it's all right. So then you've got your root mean square error that it goes into a lot of really deep statistical analysis that I would love to dive into on my own, but not here, because as much as I want to be a nerd podcast, we can't. What I'm saying is Pedro Gallese is not number 5. He's not. I don't think Stefan Fry goes above him, because granted, his history.
I didn't put Stefan Fry above him.
Yeah, you did. You put him at 5. You put Pedro Gallese at 5.
Yes.
Did you not put Stefan Fry on the list at all?
No.
You put Eli Rune in front of him, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, don't like that one either.
Room's gonna have an insane defense in front of him. He's gonna
exactly, and that's why I'm not. That you say you want to take away the.
I know, but he also had also had really good save percentage. He had an 80% save percentage last year too, and that other stat that I was looking at, he had like a plus 1.7.
You got to send me the link to that stat where you found that. I'd love to look into it on my own. I will argue that Pedro Gallese is not number 5.
That's fair. But based on the numbers,
quiet. I think he's better than at least Sean Johnson. I've seen Sean Johnson play.
That's fair. But Sean Johnson, it looks like he had a pretty good year last year, but
because he made 900 saves, because his back line was awful.
Let me send you the link to this thing. But you could see where I'm coming from based off the numbers, though. Like based on the numbers I'm looking at, he should be 5.
We'll get to that. We'll talk about it. Well, maybe we talk about it later away from this, because I could spend the next hour and a half talking about this, because I disagree with you. Adam, do you want to pitch in anything, or are we just gonna go at him?
I was happy with my my picks. You guys seemed fine with them, so I'm just staying quiet.
Smart, because I'm about to rip you apart next.
Bring it.
So my honorable mentions, by the way, I mentioned that I had this honorable mention like list for some people that I wanted to put on there, but just didn't have the proof to do it. David Sinclair. David Jensen for the hat.
Automatic top 5.
Yep, absolutely.
Top 5 hats in the league.
Oh, easily. Dane St. Clair, he only played 16 games, but I think if he gets that starting spot, he's primed to have another very good year. And Tim Melia, 24 games, 9 clean sheets, 30 goals against, 56 saves. After watching what happened when his defense got taken away from him, I don't see him as a top 5, personally.
Fair.
But I'm not upset if somebody put him in there. If you put him at 2, a different story.
I put him at 3, but probably should have put him
lower.
I probably should have put Sean Johnson at 6, Fry at 5, Mealy at 4, Turner, Gallese, Blake.
I'd be okay with that. I should have flipped Turner and Johnson, so that'll be my final. Let's go through that. Let's go with a final updated top 5. So mine's Fry, Johnson, Turner, Gallese, and Blake. Those are my 5. What's your updated,
Adam? Fry, Melia, Turner, Gallese, Blake.
Okay. Connor.
I'll go Sean Johnson, Gallese, Room, Turner, Blake.
Okay. I'm okay with that. We can move on to right back, because so first of all, before we even move on, you're welcome for making you move it, because Adam, I know you had Stefan Fry at number 1. I know you did. I watched it happen. criminal. And then you put Anton Tinnerholm at left back, so that was cool.
So I know why I do that now.
Why?
So for like, I know this is not an actual reason, but when I am picking my fantasy team every
Fantasy team. I knew he was going to go
So-
fantasy. I always put him on the left.
So when I'm building my fantasy team and I need an NYC player, obviously the first one I go to is Tinnerholm. So when it fills in my
It always goes on the left.
it starts with it just goes into left back. So I always
This
see
man will
him.
use fantasy to get out of anything. I swear.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Oh man. Anyways, going into right back. Connor, go first on this one.
Okay. So I kept the same thing, just, like kind of just looking at stats a lot.
Finding random
Surprise.
stats nobody's ever heard of, so you can make a
No. The rest of the stats are more, I think, more normal. I think.
Okay. That's good.
So I went sneaky number 5 here. Aaron Herrera, Ruan, Romain Metzenier, Anton Tinnerholm, Kyle Duncan.
Kyle Duncan at 1. Okay.
I'll tell you my reasoning.
I'd like to hear it because I can see the argument, but I'd like to hear it. Adam, go ahead.
So don't yell at me. I don't have Kyle Duncan on this list. I don't know what because no. Wait for it. Because I don't know how high to put him. And the reason that I say that is because he, as a defender, didn't impress me as much as he did going forward last season. So as a pure looking at his defensive abilities, I didn't know where to put him on this. That being said, I also have Anton Tinnerholm at 1, so like my list makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's my list. Leave me alone.
Your list sucks.
Yeah. Number 5, I had Nick Lima. Number 4, I had RO Jr. I love some Nick Lima.
He played half the season last year. He didn't touch the field.
Yeah.
Number
Number 3, I had Ruan. 2, Metzenier, and then 1 is Anton Tinnerholm. Duncan, probably at 4.
I need
Are you gonna tell me he was better than Ruan, Metzenier, and Tinnerholm last season?
I'm gonna say he was absolutely better than Metzenier because Metzenier dropped to. If I'm gonna use your fantasy example, Metzenier was a 4.0 defender for half the year.
Yeah, that's fair.
So once again, your list is. Who did I pick in fantasy for quick, cheap options? I'm going to put them all in my top 5.
That's not true.
It's absolutely true. We're going to go through the rest of the list. You're going to prove it to me.
Fine.
All right. So here's what I'm going to say. Does anybody remember the name Tajon Buchanan?
Yeah.
The fact that he's playing right back for one of the best teams in CONCACAF right now, playing right back for a team that he led to the conference finals. Nobody's going to throw him on the list there?
No.
That's really bad.
He only played like half the season, right?
You're telling me that coming into this season he won't be better? After watching what he did in Olympic qualifying, and after watching what he did in the playoffs last year, you telling me that he's not going to be better?
Bold of you to assume I was watching him. I didn't watch anything.
All right. So here's what I'm saying. Anytime I say, did you ever see him? I automatically assume, Connor, you did not see him. I understand.
Yes. So the only reason I didn't put him on this list is because
you didn't know how high to put him.
No. Because that's only 1 season. So because he's so young, I need more than half a season before I say he's automatically top 5 back in the league.
So you're just taking what we talked about, how we're not using pedigree about, what they did in the past to put them there. So you're saying Nick Lima making the U.S. men's national team 3 years ago, put him on the list above Tajon Buchanan. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, sure.
I need a lot of medication right now. Ruan, Tajon Buchanan, Richie Larea, Kyle Duncan, Tinnerholm. And here's why. Ruan fell off the last half of the year. I don't know what happened to him. He would have been number 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 for me had he kept his form all the way through. Because he was a huge reason Orlando was as good as they are, and then he just disappeared. Tajon Buchanan is this low because of what you said. He hasn't proven it long term, but after watching what they did in the playoffs and after watching what he did in Olympic qualifying, it's quite clear that he's going to be a very successful, very good attacking wingback for a while. Richard Larea, just a solid dude. Like you see him go in there. It's just one of those guys that kind of fit that system really well. 4 goals, 5 assists in 22 games. He really got forward well and attacked very well from that flank. Kyle Duncan, same idea, 3 goals, 2 assists, 24 games played, but he was their best attacker for 2/3 of the year last year, but he's also on the U.S. men's national team for a reason, or in that picture for a reason. Why he wasn't called into US U23 camp, I don't know. I think he does a much better job than Aaron Herrera. By the way, Connor, Aaron Herrera at 5, awful. Despicably awful. That's just not a good pick. Did you watch, hypothetical, did you watch him against Honduras?
Okay, I put him on the list before that game happened.
All right, and you didn't make a change after that game happened because he was that way for RSL all year. Thank you.
Were you watching RSL all year?
Yes, of course I was.
Yeah.
Anton Tinnerholm obviously is number 1, and there's no debating it. I'm not even going to try. Anybody want to argue, or are we just going to sit there and say dumb stuff? Nick Lima.
Yeah. The only name we didn't say, and I don't know where he would fall on that list, is Kelvin Leardom.
Yep, correct.
So
he's in my honorable mention simply because I don't know if he, what he's going to do in Miami. I don't know if he'll slide right in. I don't know what formation they're going to play. You don't know.
He should slide right in.
I think so too, but I wasn't sure because you do have Dylan Nealis there. Dylan Nealis is a
yeah, but he played at center back for a bunch.
Well, yeah, because you had like 3 of them.
Yeah, true.
I also put Metnier in there because, like I said, he started off too poorly, and I think just Minnesota is going to be just poor this year.
Yeah.
So if you take into account what his stats will look like, it won't be pretty. I don't think. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Love the Loons, but and then I also have Bruno Gaspar. Going into Vancouver, him and Ali Adnan right and left might be fun to watch.
Yeah,
might be a little sneaky pick there.
Say Mbiazo from Philly's the other one.
Sure, I can get there. Philly's another one of those teams where I didn't even know he played right back. All I know is Jack Elliott because somebody doesn't let me live it down.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, you're gonna hate my center back picks then.
I know. I saw them while I was scrolling. I'm already getting prepared for that one. I might need to go get like another cup of tea to calm myself down. But
do it.
Connor, anything else?
So, I told you before, like, I was looking at like a lot of just like number stuff, and you know what, I would actually like to like tell you which ones I was looking at, because then maybe, because you guys obviously know the sport better than I do, you could tell me if like these are the wrong things to look at. So for fullbacks on the defensive side, I was looking at like tackle percentage, interceptions, and blocks.
Do I need to send you my video of when I analyze statistics for our IA and math class? Because I can.
That was so long ago.
It was so long ago. When I'm looking at my outside backs, I'm looking at their tackle percentage. I'm looking at their crosses completed because I like an attacking wing back, but that's just me. And I'm looking at crosses blocked. So you're not off. What was the other one you said? You said tackle percentage,
blocks, and interceptions. I had separate numbers I was looking at for attacking. This is kind of actually a weird one. It was like goal creating actions and shot creating actions. Sure. I don't know if like there's so when I was looking at it, Aaron Herrera actually had the best defensive numbers out of any of the fullbacks.
I don't want to hear Aaron's name. I just don't.
Listen, I'm open to him being off the list, but
it may be a sore spot for me because of what happened against Honduras. But I don't want to hear anybody's name who is associated with that team. I just don't.
Okay, so let me move on from that then, and let me tell you why I put Duncan 1 over Tinnerholm.
Yes, so, please. I'd love to hear this.
So I put Duncan over Tinnerholm because I was kind of like envisioning a team as I was like working through each of the positions. And I was looking for a more defensive right back here. And Kyle Duncan last season was much better defensively than Tinnerholm. Tinnerholm had really bad defensive numbers,
Sure.
at least compared to Duncan. And then attacking wise, Tinnerholm was the best, obviously. That's kind of just what he does. But Kyle Duncan was also pretty darn good at attacking wise. I mean, obviously, you guys know that. So I felt that because Duncan was the better defender, that's why, at least at the moment, since based off last season, coming into the season, it feels like Duncan was the better defender. That's why I went with him over Tinnerholm.
Interesting. After Red Bull's shocking performance last year, I can't get myself to put Duncan over Tinnerholm. I can't. And I'd love to, because whenever Red Bull goes over NYC and anything, it's a good day. But I think Anton Tinnerholm is just too class. Now, will he be shaky this year without Alex Ring in front of him? Maybe. We'll see. But that's for the future to find out.
Should put him at CDM. Let him go forward more.
Tinnerholm?
Yeah.
No,
He should play striker for them is what he should do.
Sure.
There are a lot of people
They need it.
Striker. So I'm going to move on to center backs here. I'm going to let Adam go first. I know I haven't gone first yet, but my computer's about to die, so I'm getting my charger.
Okay.
Connor, go first. Your picks are probably better, and I want to hear Adam so I can yell at him.
I'm going to go through mine fast while he's gone.
That's what I was about to do.
So I had Matt Hedges, Ike Opara, Donovan Pines, Maxime Chanot, Aaron Long, Louis Binks, Eddie Segura, Yamar Gomez Andrade, Jonathan Mensah, and Walker Zimmerman.
Your bottom half are awful.
So confused.
Your bottom half are awful.
Went by the numbers. That's what I did.
I know you did. Yeah,
Michael Parra didn't play last year. He has no numbers.
I know, but he won before last season. He won 2 of the last 3 Defensive Player of the Year.
Adam, give me your list right now. Give it to me, because I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna highlight while you're reading it off.
Yep.
I'm gonna highlight everything you're about to get yelled at for.
Yep.
All right.
So this is my list. So you don't have to. Yeah, I see the 2 that you highlighted.
Oh no, there are more. There are more.
Probably number 4, right?
Number 1, number 5.
Really? Yeah. So number 10. So number 10, I had Aaron Long. 9, Michael Boxall. You good so far?
Sure.
Okay. Number 8, Captain Jack.
Sure.
Just to piss you off.
I'm actually okay. I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah. Number 7, I had Frederic Brilliant.
Are you dumb?
Yeah, just to annoy you.
Yes, you are.
Just to annoy you.
No, you can't make a list just to annoy me.
Oh, I can.
You're so dumb. Go ahead.
6, Miles Robinson. 5, Roberto Puncec.
No.
Why?
Just go. Keep going.
Okay. 4, LGP.
Sure.
3, Yamar Gomez. And
Sure.
then 2, Walker Zimmerman and Ike Opara at 1. How do you hate my first 2?
What did you just tell Connor about his pick? Ike Opara didn't play last year.
And
he might not play this year.
Is that definite?
Walker Zimmerman won Defender of the Year last year. How do you win Defender of the Year last year and not come in as number 1? What?
Because the guy ahead of you won it the past 2 seasons in a row.
No, he didn't. Because Aaron Long won it in 2018.
Oh.
Ay, Dios mío.
That's. Oh yeah, I was gonna say that was 4 seasons ago, but I can't math.
You can't math, I know. But here's the thing. Even if it was the past 2 seasons in a row, he didn't play last year. You don't just get to pick somebody who didn't play last year and just throw him at number 1 because you think his FIFA card's really good. Like, that's not how this works.
I haven't played FIFA in 3 years, but okay.
You're right. But Robert Puncec, where did that name come from? Give me the reasoning behind Robert Puncec, or pronounce that name.
I think that's how you say it.
Sure. Give me the reasoning behind it, and not just to piss me off. Give me a reasoning behind why you picked that guy.
I don't know if he's 5, but
he's not even 15.
That's fine. You can disagree. The reason I put him on this list was because I think coming into the season last year, he came into a Kansas City team that was fairly solid around him, and he seemed, at least by the end of the season, to be the kind of the leader back there. I mean, I know he's got 70-year-old Graham Zusi next to him, who arguably will be there for the next 20 years. But I think in his second season going into this year, he'll be even better.
Number 5 in the league.
Mhm.
He might not even start.
No, he will.
I mean, he probably will, but
He definitely will.
you've got Fontas, you've got Ismiat Moraine, and you got Puncec. Now, let's look at our buddy Puncec's stats. Just for fun.
Stat, you can make up a stat for anything,
You can.
which is why I don't look at them.
All right, so the where I'm looking at doesn't have your how you say I want to look at clean sheet stats, but I can't find them. But anyways, he's not number 5 in the league, bro. Like it's not even close. Now, I can forgive that. I can forgive Iko Parra at 1, Walker Zimmerman at 2, Puncec at 5. Frederick Briant at 7?
That one was more just to piss you off.
All right. No, I'm not having any of it. Like, I think you genuinely put him in there and are now trying to cover your ass because
No,
that's awful.
no, literally just to annoy you.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me who you'd replace him with then if you were taking this any seriously.
Omar Gonzalez. No, I'm kidding.
I will turn this call off. Do not start.
You can. I can. Who would I put in? That's a good question. Who's I can't think of his name. Orlando center back.
Antonio Carlos.
Thank you.
That's bold.
I kept wanting to say Roberto Carlos, and I was like, that's definitely not it.
All right. You're going to completely disregard Jonathan Mensah, Alexander Cayens, Louis Binks.
Yeah.
Did you put Matt Hedges in
Binks
there?
I did not.
Probably not. Yeah, that's right.
What team does Matt Hedges play for?
He doesn't, but he's
Okay.
he's
So
a USMNT.
put him on this list if he's not on our team.
He plays on the USMNT.
That's not an MLS
put
team.
him there over
Put him in.
Frederick Briant, 35 years old, who can't move.
He's a Dallas defender. I know you know who he is, Adam.
Oh, I know who he is.
You evidently went to Dallas and watched him play. You and 4 other people.
I don't know if he was there that game.
Matt Hedges, Henry Kessler, which is the only person from that U23 team I will mention in this list. Louis Binks, Bakai Dabasi. I think he's better than Boxall. I think they go well together, but I'll take him over the other one. Yamar, Jonathan Mensah. I'll put Cayens in there because I think I like the way he plays better than. I'd probably move him lower now that I'm looking at this list. LGP, Aaron Long, Walker Zimmerman. I think Henry Kessler is going to be very, very good this year. Like I said, I really liked the way he played last year. Had they not changed it from Rookie of the Year to Young Player of the Year last year, I think he's in contention to win that award. But they gave it to Diego Rossi because he's like under 22 or something. Louis Binks obviously has talent. He's not on a talented team, but he has the ability to be very, very good. That's why he's going to Bologna. I mentioned Dabasi. Not putting Jonathan Mensah on this list is.
How are you putting Louis Binks on this list if he's going to Bologna?
He's still playing here this season, right?
He's here until January.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be here. He'll be here until the end of the year.
Okay.
This is last season. It's kind of like he's loaned back for the end of the year.
Got it.
Not putting Jonathan Mensah on this list is criminal, Adam. Like, and the fact that you didn't even think about him, like you did, like even if you put Frederick Briant as a joke, the fact you didn't even think about him being that replacement is criminal. Like,
yeah,
that's really poor. Oh, what happened? I lost. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I just lost all my notes. Everything went dark for a second. I can switch Kynes, drop him down a little bit. I just always like the way he plays. I think he's a really strong, solid defender. He's been New York City's best defender for the last few years. And I think he'll just have another solid, strong year again. LGP, just as with players around him now that will make his talent will stand out a little bit. I think personally, Aaron Long, 2018 Defender of the Year, U.S. Men's National Team captain, great in the air, great 1v1 defender, easily top 2. And then Defender of the Year 2020, Walker Zimmerman. Anything you want to say to that? Or does it actually make sense?
Whatever.
I feel like Kynes is a little high.
I agree. I'd probably move Kynes a little bit lower. I just didn't know how far down to put him. I'd probably put him maybe 7.
Yeah, I would feel like I would put Mensah and Andrade ahead of him.
I agree. Yeah, now that I look at it, I'd probably move Mensah, Andrade ahead of him, and then put maybe even Debasi ahead of him because I think he slid right into a power spot really well. And he was really good to help get Minnesota to the finals of their conference. But yeah, I think Kynes is a bit high. I'm okay with hearing that. Adam, I like that you muted yourself. You probably should stay that way for a little bit. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's go to left back. My top 5, Chase Gasper in Minnesota. Sam Vines. Okay, I have another U23 player in there. Sam Vines. Ali Adnan, Milton Valenzuela, Kai Wagner. Adam. Before you go,
Yep.
give me your list and then give me your actual list because I know what you've done here.
You don't like my list?
No, I want your actual list.
Everyone on my list moves up, and then I have one that would slide into 5.
That's awful.
So what I have just to see Andrew's reaction is 5 at Ryan Hollingshead, 4, unfortunately, Ali Adnan. I couldn't put him at 1. 3, Milton Valenzuela, 2, Kai Wagner, and number 1, Andrew's favorite player of all time, Patrick Segrist.
Like I said, I don't disagree, but give me your real list.
So my real list is I had Chase Gasper at 5, and then everyone else moves up 1.
Okay. Okay. Connor.
I need to replace my 5 one because I forgot to replace that once we talked about what this list was going to be.
Sure.
So I'll leave that one open for now. I put Milton Valenzuela at 4, Ryan Hollingshead at 3, Kai Wagner at 2, and Elliot Knott at 1.
We're all well aware that Ryan Hollingshead plays wing, right? He's not actually an outside back. Like
I don't even know what team he plays for.
But for MLS fantasy purposes, he's like
left back.
He's
exactly, Connor.
I refuse to put Ryan Hollingshead in this list because he plays striker. Like he's not an outside back.
That's fair.
I think Ali Adnan above Kai Wagner is bold. I understand why you did it because Kai Wagner was hurt most of the year.
Yeah.
But when he played, he's been the best left back since Kamar left. I don't think there's any arguing that. And the Philly has only lost 2 of the 18 games that he played last year.
I just don't know how he's going to come back from injury. And sure. I also like, kind of like what you were saying, I like Vancouver as a sneaky good team this year.
I agree. I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah, and I think Ali Adnan could benefit from that.
Absolutely. No disagreements there. I understand why you did it. I just find it hard to put Valenzuela at 3 after being so solid, you know.
His defensive numbers were, I mean, I was looking at the same numbers I mentioned before for the right backs, and
sure.
Out of all the 10 fullbacks I had on the list, his was the worst. So that had me concerned. I mean, I know he's very talented going forward. I don't know how he would be in defense. Granted, he has a ridiculous team around him this year, so maybe that could make up for it.
Sure. No arguments there. Yeah, Chase Gasper is just really good. Like I'd never see somebody like with an issue that Chase Gasper made a mistake. Sam Vines was the other one. The reason I put him up there was he is on the verge to, I think, make a move to like a low-level Europe team. So he's going to be playing out of his mind to make sure he gets it. That's the reason I have him on there. He was okay, not great in USA's loss to Honduras, but I think he has a pretty good year this year, I think. But no, I will not put Ryan Hollingshead on that list. Sorry.
Fine.
That's just because he came in last place in fantasy.
Exactly.
Stop. I didn't pay attention for the last three months.
Not my fault. You should have picked Ryan Hollingshead.
Stop it. Defensive mid. I mean, I don't have anything against your guys' list. I think that was pretty straightforward. Anybody got anything they want to add?
We should read them off. I don't think the listeners know our list. They don't see the notes.
Gasper, Vines, Adnan, Valenzuela.
Oh, I thought you said defensive mid.
Oh, no, I was asking, does anybody have anything else they want to say about left back before we go on? Okay, cool. Then let's move on. Defensive mids. Adam, go ahead.
You can't hate this list.
I probably can.
He definitely can.
I will.
It's fine.
Because is this yours? Yes, it is. All right. Number 4 is not playing. Number 5 is an 8. Number 3 is an 8.
Sure.
Number 1 and 2 I can give you. So you messed it up already. But go on.
So do we know Ozzy Alonso's not playing?
Yeah, he's gonna sit behind. They signed him back for a year.
Yeah. 5, I had Dax because he did play deeper for Nashville toward the end of the season.
Sure.
4, Ozzy Alonso. Just his was more based on just the fact that it's Ozzy Alonso.
So once again, just grabbing names that you know and putting them on a list.
Sure. Yep.
No reason behind it, but go ahead.
Yeah. 3, João Paulo. 2, Diego Chara, and obviously number 1, Alex Ring.
Sure. Yeah, he played 16 times last year for a combined just over 1,000 minutes.
Who, Ozzy?
Ozzy.
Okay.
I don't see him coming back much anymore. Because I think he was supposed to be on his way out. They brought him back for one. Yeah, because he was hurt a little bit. Didn't get picked for the last 2 games of regular season. So I think they were kind of easing him out. Now, granted, I think he'll still put in a good shift when he gets there, but is he top 5 in the league? I don't think so. Diego Chara at 5. Because James Sands goes into 4. Atuesta at 3. I think he's probably the only person I'd put here that's an 8 that is probably going to fall into this DM spot. But I think he sits deeper in this LAFC system now.
Yeah, I didn't put him on any DM or CM because I just don't know where he plays in that system. Like they're all over the place, those 3.
Sure. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Artur starting CDM for the.
So I put him as a CM. That's why.
Okay. I think he's a natural CDM because they let Darlington Nagby play 8 and Zellaround play 10, but fine. And then Alex Ring at 1, obviously. Connor.
Okay, so I made a swap because I think you're right. I had João Paulo in the DM spot, but I think you're right. He's more of a forward player. So I went kind of more for like when I was thinking of this spot, I'm like trying to get like a ball winning defensive midfielder here that's just going to sit back and clean up as much as it can.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the statistics, I'm just going to say that now. That's the reason why this guy's here at 5. But I went with Hootson at 5.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't put Judson from San Jose at 5. You didn't put Judson, the center defensive mid, who lost multiple games 7-0 at 5. You didn't do it. No, you didn't.
James Sands at 4, Artur at 3, Alex Ring at 2, and Diego Chara at 1.
Wait, you put Alex Ring at 2?
Yeah, Chara was really good last year.
Chara's always really good, but he's not better than Ring. Not
Well,
now.
Ring's also in a new team now this season, so I don't know what he's gonna look like in the new team. I know he's still gonna be a great player, but I know what I'm getting from Diego Chara.
I can forgive that. I can forgive it. You are one of the most disrespectful individuals I have ever met in my life. Judson at 5.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean,
now Connor, I know you didn't watch the game
yes,
or any,
you know, I looked at the numbers. You know how that goes.
but 7-0 multiple times. You don't play center defensive mid as a ball winning enforcer and lose 7-0 multiple times.
That's fair. That's fair. But I was looking he had the most tackles and interceptions in the league, which granted probably could have been because San Jose was so shaky defensively that they would just constantly under pressure. He also had so I tried to when I was doing my thing for the statistics, I tried to sort in like all the midfielders. I think I had the attacking ones in there as well. And then I would just give each person a rank by who had the best stat in that. And then I tried to average it across the stats that I was looking at. So Hootson was first in tackles and interceptions, fourth in pass
Total
blocks.
or per game?
Total. And then his tackle percentage was 24th. So his numbers weren't bad. But like you said, I mean, I don't watch them. I don't really know. I think it's a fair argument. I would probably, if you wanted to consider João Paulo there, I think he would be better in the other central midfielder position. But I originally had him, and then I would knock him off the list.
Sure. You can look at tons of other people. You can look at Samuel Piet. If you're looking for ball-winning midfielder, that's Montreal's go-to guy. You can look at Keaton Parks. I think he's more of an 8. I wouldn't put him there. You can look at and I know you didn't do this because you had you made it known that you were kind of sticking with players from last season. You could have put in Santi Sosa there. You think he's not going to be a top 5 CDM in the league?
No, I would have if I considered the people coming into this year. I definitely would have put him on the list.
Okay,
but I didn't consider them. So,
yep, I hear you. I don't know how you can say that. That's just me. I think that's not good. Like drastically not good.
I'm sure that's not the last time we'll hear that this episode.
You're absolutely correct. Center mids, unless anybody wants to try and dispute, I think we all were pretty much in the same spot there, give or take a Judson or two. Center mids, I'll go first. Jack Price at 5, Montero at 4, Grey Goose at 3, Nagby at 2, Roldan at 1. I've got Jack Price. He is just Colorado's ball winner, ball distributor. He does everything in the midfield. I think he's going to have another really solid year. Montero, number 8 for the Supporter Shield champs. Pretty good defensively, but really, really good going forward. Grey Goose, good both sides of the ball, really good distributor and has a few goals in him as well. Nagby we talk about as well, but he's just not getting as much game time because he's a little bit knocked up here and there. And Roldan is my number 1 because I think he's just really good both sides of the ball. He's one of the main reasons Seattle is as good as they are. So I can have him there. I know we talk about Nagby as being one of the best 8s ever, but I think Roldan has overtaken him this year, personally. Anybody can go next. I don't care.
I'll go. Andrew, I'm surprised you didn't put Flo Valo on there.
I'm not sure where he's going to play. He might play striker. He might play CDM, attacking mid.
Yeah, that's fair.
Winger, where he belongs. I don't know.
Yeah. So I had Jack Price at 5. I had Flo Valo at 5, but like actually
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jack Price at 5. And then I had Nagby at 4. I had Pereira from Orlando at 3, and then it was mostly based off of last season. Roldan at 2, and then I put Artur at 1.
Okay, so I'm okay with the Artur at 1 because of what we talked about, but
Yeah.
Pereira's an attacking mid only. How many tackles has that dude made in the last 2 years?
So
Like,
we don't have an attacking mid spot on this team, and I
yes,
want
we
to get.
do.
Oh yeah, we do. It's down the list because I did right mid, left wing first, so my list is out of order.
I can't with this kid. I can't.
It's been a long day.
You didn't do this today. I hope you didn't do this today.
No, I didn't.
It makes sense that you would do it today with some of the picks that you made, but like, anyways, Pereira's an attacking mid, so I'm gonna X that off for you. That's a -1 point on that assignment.
I didn't know we were keeping score.
I mean, if we were, I'd be winning.
Okay.
Connor, go ahead.
Okay. So I got Jack Price at 5, Roldan at 4, Montero at 3. Kind of, I feel like I kind of cheated putting him on this one, but I put Atuesta at 2 and then Nagby at 1. I know Atuesta kind of sits a little bit deeper, but I just went for someone a little bit more creative on this position. I put Roldan a little bit lower because I have no idea what's going on with Seattle this year with the turnover that they've had with the team. I don't know what formation they're going to play, where Roldan's going to play. I think I noticed on Transfer Market there were some points where he was playing like right midfield.
Yeah, he was on the wing a little bit.
Yeah, so
really early in his career.
Yeah, so with that uncertainty, I wanted to put him a little bit lower. But I mean, he definitely has the talent to be on the top of this list. But I had to go with Nagby at 1.
So I'm okay with that. I think Roldan's a little low. I think not having Jan Grey Goose is a little harsh by both of you.
Yeah, I was considering Grey Goose for either position, honestly.
Now, again, granted, based off of what we're looking at next season with Minnesota, I understand. But I think not having them there just based on talent is a little rough. I've also got an honorable mention in Seattle's new number 10, Gianluca Busio. For those of you who are just listening, this is a joke from 2 episodes ago when Adam thought Gianluca Busio was playing for Seattle at some point.
Just wasn't paying attention.
Never are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got no issues with most of what y'all have said. Like I said, I put Grey Goose in there over who else? I don't even know. You had Atuesta and you had Artur, so both people I put in the back. Yeah, I've got no issues with most of that. That hurt. I don't have that range of motion, Adam. ROM.
Mm-hmm.
Move on to the right wing spot.
Sure.
Go ahead, Adam.
I have Yemi Chara at 5, Ethan Finley at 4, Chris Mueller at 3, Kevin Molino at 2, and Vela at 1.
Okay, Connor, give me a minute.
Just so you know, when I was doing my left.
Why do you start every list with an excuse?
Because no, it's not an excuse.
Prepping to get yelled at?
No, it's okay. So when I was just making my left mid and right mid list, I was looking on Transfer Market for where they played the most last season.
Okay.
So I think some of my guys are going to be on different sides compared to where you guys are putting them.
Okay.
So like my list, I have Johnny Russell, Christian Espinosa, Chris Mueller, Lewis Morgan, and Carlos Vela.
Go through that again. Sorry.
Russell, Espinosa, Mueller, Morgan, Vela.
Okay. So Lewis, I know he played on the right, but he was listed at the left. So
I know that. Yeah, that's why I knew it was confusing because I looked that up too. When you put him on the left, I was like, I had to double check to make sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Espinosa is my number 6. I was very close to putting him in there. Connor, you heard of this guy Julian Gressel before? Just out of curiosity.
Wasn't sure if he was gonna play like more like right wing, right back, right mid. I didn't know where exactly on the right they were gonna play him.
Sure, I get that. Like I said, I'm just kind of busting you here. I think if he plays in that spot, he is top 3, no question. But we know that. I've got Johnny Russell at 5, Molino at 4, Gressel at 3, Mueller at 2, Vela at 1. I think Johnny Russell still got a ton of quality. He's fallen off a bit, but I still think he's a top 5 winger on this team. Kevin Molino's only this low for a reason I'm about to yell at Adam for. He might not start. He might be a bench player, which is unreal, and it's awful, but he might not start every game.
Yeah.
So you can't put him at 2. Julian Gressel, we talked about a little bit.
Chris Gressel plays goalie.
All right, stop it. Don't. We just had this conversation 30 seconds ago. Like, if he plays there, he is there. If he doesn't, then I move him out and I put everybody up 1, and Espinoza goes in 5. See, I have
actual talk though, isn't he a right back? Like in his actual position?
The reason I put him there is because when we talked about DC's formation, it was a 3-1-4-2, right? So there is no right back in that formation.
Okay.
But if he does play right back, I might throw him in number 5 right back.
Yeah.
Over Ruan, who had an awful end of the season last year. Yeah, I might. Chris Mueller, we talked about. Very, very good. Surprised he wasn't linked with a move earlier. And then Vela, duh. Now, Adam, we need to have a conversation, sir. Where are we? Nope, that's Connor's notes. There we are. Okay. Yimmy Chara.
Yep.
Okay. Yimmy Chara below Ethan Finley.
Yep.
Not okay.
Okay.
Kevin Molino above Chris Mueller, who might not play.
Yep.
Not okay. The only one you really got right here is Carlos Vela, and it would be very bad if you mess that up.
I can't imagine Kevin Molino doesn't start. Like we understand.
You got Pedro Santos on that outside. Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't imagine after the season Kevin Molino had and the money they spent on him that they just go, yeah, go sit on the bench. It's fine.
I absolutely can see that. What do you mean?
So then who do you see starting if they play a 4-2-3-1? Because I would think you could play Molino on one wing and then Santos on the other.
Santos on the other. You could put Diaz in there as well. You put DEJ7, GOAT season.
Yeah, I love Derek. I still don't think he starts, which sucks.
Sure. I agree. I think that sucks as well. No disagreements. I don't think with the uncertainty around him and the fact that he might have just gone on there to be a bench player.
Yeah.
Now, if he doesn't, absolutely, I'll put him at 2 all day. I think him or Mueller could be an interchange. But Ethan Finley, dude, is this another joke pick, or do you have a reason behind it?
I do.
I'd love to hear it.
It was mostly just because now that Kevin Molino's not there, I kind of want to see. I mean, Minnesota's going to be a dumpster fire this year, but I want to see who takes that attack and says, all right, my turn to shine. So I think he's probably the one to do it.
My guess would be Reynoso is the one that says this is my attack.
I meant as far as the wingers.
So
obviously, obviously as the attack,
10, but not the people who are going to take over the attack. It's going to be like the third string.
No, obviously as the 10, Reynoso is the one to do it.
Sure,
but
I would think maybe
as the guys on the wing,
maybe Lurd.
He'd be the other one, but I don't know.
At the end of the day, who are you serving balls to? Juan Agudelo. Game over. Game over.
I didn't say the ones that were gonna, score a bunch of goals. I just said start the attack. What happens at the end once the striker gets it isn't their fault.
Well, we're talking about top 5 midfielders. That means quality.
It's not his fault he's crossing to nobody.
Well, that's the whole point. The reason I didn't put
he's not the one putting Agudelo up there.
The reason that we didn't put Metnier or Dane Sinclair, they're going to be bad. Their numbers are going to be bad.
I mean, not necessarily. You can still be good on a bad team.
Sure.
Like you put Louis Binks in there, and
sure. No, I get it. I think that Johnny Russell deserves that spot better than Ethan Finley.
Okay.
It's just me.
So I put Johnny Russell on the left, even though I know he predominantly plays on the right. I have
Just
him.
like you put Giovinco at Cam, even though he's predominantly a striker. I get it. You do whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Giovinco's not in the league. He's not on my list, Andrew. What are you talking about?
You're lucky he isn't. Or I would have to fight.
I wish you still put him on the list, Adam. I really wish you did.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Oh man, I feel bad for anybody who hasn't watched season 1 because they have no idea what we're talking about. Go back and watch it. Left mids, unless anybody wants to argue lists. I think Julian Gressel still needs to be in there, assuming he's going to play in that spot. That's
fine.
That's the only gripe I have over that, and Ethan Finley. So left mid, Connor.
Yeah, so same. This is going to be like the same thing I just said before. So some guys are going to be, you might consider them right mids. I just went off of where they played most on transfer market last season. So my list is Nani, Pedro Santos, Kevin Molino, Darwin Quintero, and Diego Rossi.
Okay.
I'm also
just processing.
Yeah. Go through that again. Go through it slowly, please.
Okay. Nani.
Okay.
Pedro Santos.
Okay.
Kevin Molino. Darwin Quintero. Diego Rossi.
Wait, you put Darwin Quintero at 2?
Bold.
Yeah. You see the numbers he put up on Houston last year?
75 assists.
Sure.
Yeah. On a team with 6 goals.
I never saw him as a winger. That is the issue that I have.
Yeah, that's fair. I have him.
He was like, I think we forget about it because he was at Houston last year, but he was like one of the guys in the league when he was with Minnesota.
Yep.
And I don't think his quality of play really dropped that much last season.
No.
Oh man. So this is a low quality position in the league outside of a few players, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to make a change here and put this guy as an honorable mention, but number 5 is going to be Robin Lod for me. It was Cecilio Dominguez, the new DP signing at Austin, because of what he's done. But I'm going to put Robin Lod at 5. Randall Leal for Nashville at 4.
Yeah.
I think he was really good, and if he plays in that spot again, he's going to do really well again, especially with Cadiz up top and a few other pieces around him. I got Nani at 3. If he spent less time complaining about all the calls he doesn't get for diving, he might be a little higher. Lewis Morgan at 2. I think he was the best player at Miami, and now that he's got a little bit of help around him, he might thrive a little bit more. And he almost earned a move to Europe that he probably should have taken. Take whatever he's going to give you a run. And of course, Diego Rossi at 1, Golden Boot Young Player of the Year. Adam, you got one?
Yeah. I had a tie at 5 because I didn't know it would probably be Johnny Russell. Because I put him on the left, but the other one that no one said is Sebastian Blanco.
He's my honorable mention because he didn't play last year. He was hurt.
Fair.
Yep.
I had Darwin.
I like that though.
Yeah, I had Darwin at 4, Lewis Morgan at 3, Nani at 2, and then Diego Rossi at 1.
Sure. I think the other person we got to talk about is Romel Kyoto at Montreal. Yeah. I think he is probably an honorable mention, maybe a 7 or an 8 on that list. Yeah, I just think Kyoto is quietly good in a very much like Quintero, quietly good on a team that nobody talks about.
Yeah,
but yeah, keep an eye on Cecilio Dominguez. I think playing in that spot, especially in the 4-1-4-1, he's going to be isolated 1v1 a lot more frequently than most people, and he'll get a chance to show what he's about. I think Leal deserves a spot there after what he did last year. I think
Leal would probably be my 6 if I had to put him on there.
Okay. Connor?
Yeah, definitely in the running. I don't know if I have like a spot outside of 5, but certainly wouldn't complain if you swapped out one of my guys for Leal.
Sure. Yeah, like I said, I just think, again, Nashville, a team that didn't make all these big name flashy signings, then he comes in and does really well. Nobody talks about him. But yeah, Blanco coming back from injury is the only reason he's not on my list. I agree. I think he's going to be one of the best, but it's all about how he comes back, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we've got 2 more spots left. Center attacking mid. No strikers. Adam, go first.
5, I have Emmanuel Reynoso. 4, Diego Valeri. 3, Nico Ladero. And then 1 and 2 could have gone either way. 2, I put Lucas Elorán, and then 1, Alejandro Pozuelo.
I have the exact same list.
Cool.
Well done. Yeah, no, like I said, I actually had my number 6 is Carlos Hill.
Yeah.
But he actually plays on the wing more frequently than he does in the middle. So I couldn't put him on there.
New England also doesn't play with the cam because they play 4-4-2.
Yeah, it's a very weird way that they do this. But they also put Bo out on the wing at times. Like it's a very weird system they do there. But I took him off and put Valeri in because for some reason I just didn't pick him, which is really bad on my part when I first made this list and I was at work and I'm going through it and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta put him on there. Yeah, well done. Connor?
I went Diego Valeri, Emmanuel Reynoso, Nico Ladero, Lucas Elorán, and Alejandro Pozuelo.
All right, so there's not a lot to talk about here. It seems like we're all on the same page. Man, that's upsetting. I wanted to yell at somebody.
You want me to make changes?
No,
Sebastian Giovinco, number 1.
On to the strikers. Let's round this thing up. This might not be a super long episode.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was going.
Nope.
All right, striker list. I have started with Kasper Schmeichel at 5, starting striker, 27 goals, 27 games, 8 goals, 6 assists for the Supporter Shield winners. Robert Barrich at 4, 23 games, 12 goals, 1 assist for a guy on an awful team. That's not a bad number to put up. Rui Diaz, obviously, 24 goals, 24 games, 14 goals, 4 assists. The only reason he's this low is that I don't know how he'll perform without Mr. Morris next to him.
Yeah.
Zardes at 2, starting striker for the team that won MLS Cup, 15 goals, 5 assists, 26 games. And of course, Mr. Martinez up top, if he comes back 100%, hell, if he comes back 70%, he is the best pure striker in the league, no question. And if anybody doesn't put him at 1, you're kicked off the pod. Go ahead, Adam.
I put Brian White at 1.
Okay, fair. You're allowed. You're allow it.
No, I put Alan Polito at 5. I put Gustavo Bo at 4.
Did we not just have this conversation 30 seconds ago?
Yeah, we did. I put Zardes at 3.
Okay.
And Chivilco at 2. Dude, Chivilco's like really good.
No,
like,
he isn't.
He is.
He really is.
He kind of like is though.
All right, who'd you put? You put Rui Diaz, who had 14 goals.
So I had Rui Diaz on here originally, but for the same reason that I don't know what he's going to look like without JMO next to him. I took him off for this season. If this was last season, then yeah, he'd have been probably one of the first names on here.
Poor.
And then obviously J Mart up top.
Okay, we have a lot to talk about, sir. Connor,
you thought this was going to be a quick episode.
I thought we were about to get out of this real quick.
I put Polito at 5, Barrich at 4, Zardes at 3, Rui Diaz at 2, and Josef at 1.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Żebelko is not the second best striker in the league, and he never will. No, that's unacceptable. That is
fine.
No, it's not fine. You put him at 2. That's not okay.
How'd Philly do last year?
They won the Supporter Shield, but
okay.
It's because everybody played well. Brendan Aronson was there. Who's not there anymore? The guy that created all of his goals.
Fontana's there now.
Stop it. Did you have Robert Barrich on that list?
I didn't. He would have been 6.
Criminal. Who else did you put on there? Polito? Polito's on my honorable mention because I want to see him healthy before he goes all the way through. But I do think he'll have a very good year if he stays healthy. DK, if he comes back, is obviously going to slide into this list, and I have to assume he'll be like 2.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, until Everton buy him.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Toffees, baby. Brenner has to be in this conversation. You don't buy somebody for 13 mil and he flops.
Again didn't put anyone first year on
Sure.
team.
Sure, but he has to be in the conversation. If Brenner is bought for $13 million and doesn't perform, FCC are liquidated. Like, I don't think they're allowed to play anymore.
I didn't see Jurgen Licati on anyone's list.
Not yet. Not yet.
Putting that up there.
And of
Listen,
course, there's one man we still have to talk about. Over in Orlando, the Brazilian himself, Pato, is going to be very good. But like I said, I tried to keep it to players who we saw last year. But we know Pato is going to lead the league in goals this year. So if DK doesn't come back, if he does, they're going to split it. They'll go 1-2.
That's fine.
Shubrelko is not the second best striker in the league.
Okay.
Pulido, I need to see play without injury
He-
before.
So before injury,
He was on fire, no question. I saw those
he's
stats.
like really good.
Yeah, I saw those stats, no question.
Yeah.
But granted, he also did that. Didn't he do that in like MLS's back or like the first game when they played like Houston? They just beat the crap
He
out
did
of him.
it in MLS's back, and then like the first
few
many,
games.
however many
Yes.
games of the season. Yeah,
And then he got hurt. So yes, I think he's very good. But how he come, like I said, the only reason Josef has won, even though he didn't play last year, is we all know what he can do. Pulido is very good, but I would like to see him healthy before we go.
yeah. I picked him for. I don't know if I picked him for 20 goals last season because then I had J Mart as my golden boot. If he stays healthy, like he'll probably hit that.
Yep, for sure. Anything else we want to add? Any honorable mentions? Players you want to watch?
I mean the two
Brian
new
White.
guys, yeah, but they weren't going on my list because they're new.
Yeah. Anybody else you want to watch?
Matthias Jorgensen.
Frank O'Hara at Dallas might be a shout.
Yeah.
Might put them into some sort of relevancy. I don't know.
I want to see who's playing striker for Portland.
Yeah, Nias Goda
Mora,
Jabo.
Bogasi,
or
Needs Goda.
maybe all three of them. Go
Who's,
for a 3-striker formation.
Yeah. Who's starting for Austin?
that would be Mr. Hosen, wouldn't it?
Never mind.
Probably right.
Yeah, not excited then. I've seen Danny Hosen.
You
I know what he looks like.
You
Yeah.
start Danny Hosen at San Jose. We'll see what he can do.
I didn't actually hate him at San Jose. I thought he was
I thought
actually
he was
okay.
alright. I thought it was all right at San Jose, yeah. And then they destroyed the team around him. So
I mean, yeah. Wando.
stop.
Wando's gonna have like 14 goals again this year.
I have an update here from MLS Buzz on Instagram. FC Cincinnati is signing Ecuadorian center back Gustavo Vallecilla and Ghanaian winger Isaac Atang.
Cool.
This Vallecilla will join Cincinnati on loan from Ecuadorian side SD Aucas, and he made 2 appearances, so you know he's good. He's 21 years old, and Atanga is 20-year-old speedy winger from Danish side Nordjylland, where he had 11 goals and 44 appearances since 2019. That's more players who want to win the East and MLS Cup and Supporter Shield and Open Cup. Lots of people want to win over there.
Since he would go on the quadruple this year, love it.
God, give it to me. Right.
I would quit all soccer for the rest of my life.
You would have a lot of explaining to do. All right, that seems to be it for me. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
Fun episode. I miss these types. What's that? I was about to say I miss these types of episodes where we just get to yell at each other for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it was good to do it again, boys. Next week we come back with predictions, standings predictions, game predictions. We're back. We'll lay out a schedule for our live streaming, which will be really fun. And talk CCL, right? CCL will start up at that point. We'll have some conversations to have. So make sure you're following us everywhere you get your podcasts. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, literally everywhere. Follow us on Facebook, the Designated Players Podcast, Twitter, the DP Pod 1, Instagram is designated _players_podcast, TikTok at the DP Pod. we are still posting those and going basically viral, which is pretty cool. 100 views, not too bad. Go check us out on YouTube where we post full clips of everything that we talk about here. So you don't need to drag through the full episode to take a look. And then that's it. I got nothing left. You guys got anything left?
Nope.
Yeah. If you think our lists are bad this week, wait till you see our standings predictions next
Oh
week.
goodness, that'll be so much fun. And then yeah, so we'll see you next week for standings predictions, bold predictions, golden boot. Oh, we're about to have some fun next week. Until then, we'll see you on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.